I could have continued making money the way I was, and I was making a great living, and continued investing it, and that would have been great. But the moment I joined an OSO, and I got a huge payment up front for what would have equaled probably about 6 or 7 years of my take home, now I could put that to work up front, and just like the guy who puts his money, or gal, who puts all that money into the IRA the first 5 years versus the person who does nothing for the first 5 or 10 years and then puts in every year, the person who puts in the first money always wins. Hello there, everybody. Welcome to the 5-Minute Friday. This is Glenn Krieger, your host. And today I'm going to tell you a big difference between what makes a millionaire and a poor person and a middle-class person. I've talked about it before, but I just said it to somebody else again this week and it blew their mind. And maybe you didn't hear it the first time, but if you did, it's worth hearing a second time. I think maybe Tony Robbins or somebody else said the big difference between somebody poor, somebody average, and somebody who is rich is that poor people see money as a way of paying bills and surviving. And if you're an ortho, right, you went through school, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Unless you were lucky to have somebody in your family bankroll you, you know what it's like, you know, as Dave Ramsey likes to say, rice and beans, one night for dinner, and the next night, beans and rice, okay? Poor people see money as a way of surviving. Middle-class people use money as a way of getting credit for things they couldn't otherwise afford. And for many of us, and for much of our team, this is where we're living. And then comes the wealthy, and they see money as a way of making more money. And that's one of the big arguments I tell people out there is, you know, we've talked about all different aspects of money matters, but here I'm telling you, find a way to have money make money for you. If your money's sitting in a bank, we all say, don't let your money just sit in a bank, or like grandma and grandpa have it under a mattress. The key to the time value of money, you've heard that. So maybe you already know this already. And this is the swift kick in the tush to get you to start doing it. But whether it's a side hustle, whether it's getting involved in some sort of private equity, whether it's joining an OSO or DSO, find a way to get money up front that you can have work for you to make more money. And to be totally honest with you, that was a huge part of my discussion with my OSO when I joined Smile Doctors, is because I could have continued making money the way I was, and I was making a great living, and continued investing it, and that would have been great. But the moment I joined an OSO, and I got a huge payment up front for what would have equaled probably about 6 or 7 years of my take home, right? Probably more than that. Now I could put that to work up front. And just like the guy who puts his money, or gal, who puts all that money into the IRA the first 5 years versus the person who does nothing for the first 5 or 10 years and then puts in every year, the person who puts in the first money always wins, right? I think it was put in $2,000 a year for 10 years and then stop contributing. And the second person puts nothing in for 10 years and then starts $2,000 a year for the rest of their life, and they never catch up. Remember that. There's nothing that replaces the time value of money. And it's not all about money, it's about quality of life and what have you. But that's one of the main arguments in favor of OSOs, DSOs, is that if you could make $1 million a year for the next 25 or 30 years versus potentially being paid $10 million up front to be able to put into a bank account, 7 or 8 of it, will you ever catch up financially? Chances are you won't. Especially if you invest it remotely wisely and follow general, percentages that have been given historically as norms. So again, the time value of money will help you get wealthy. So treat your life like the wealthy treat it, and look at money not as a way to buy that new TV, which you probably don't need, or a way of buying that fancy car that you won't impress anybody with, or living in that monster home that you're probably not ready for at this point in the game. Instead, put it off for 3 to 5 years, and let the time value of money grow, and treat your money, even if you're middle class or even if you're poor-ish, right? The word poor I hate. But even if you don't have a lot of money, treat your money like the wealthy do, and use the time value of money to grow and leverage whatever you can reasonably to get yourself to that point where the amount of interest you're getting on your money outpaces the amount of money you can put in every single year. And when that happens, you know you're golden. Love you all. I hope to see you at Orthopreneurs Summit. Go to opsummit2024.com. There is no reason on the planet why you shouldn't be there. This is going to be one of the best summits ever. Can't wait to see you there. Much love to each and every one of you.